Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and just for anybody out there who may have gotten any wrong impression, go Dogs. Okay. Mr. Chairman, thanks for having this hearing today. There are many ongoing copyright issues that deserve our attention, and you and I have a history of working on these issues together in a very bipartisan way. I'd like to see this committee focus more on issues like copyright that are critical to our economy and represent areas where we can actually legislate and get things done rather than redoing a lot of what we have been redoing recently. I also want to thank Ms. Temple for appearing for us today. It's good to see you, it's good to have you here, and it is good that you are permanently there, and I'm glad to have that. It's her first time appearing before us as the officially appointed Registrar of Copyrights, but she is by no means a stranger to this committee or to copyright law. Copyright is a right provided for by the U.S. Constitution. Strong copyright protections are critical to promoting innovation and creativity, and they're critical to our economy. According to the International Intellectual Property Alliance, core copyright industries contribute more than $1 trillion to the U.S. GDP and make up almost 7% of the U.S. economy. The Copyright Office plays a key role in this system, and we in Congress are fortunate to have their advice and analysis on numerous policy matters. Last year, the Music Modernization Act was signed into law. This is a bill of a culmination of years of work and the first major update to the music and licensing system in a generation. The Copyright Office provided its expertise throughout the process and is now in the process of implementing the law. We look forward to hearing how that implementation is proceeding and to continue to work with the Copyright Office to ensure that this law is functioning as intended. In addition to the Music Modernization Act, there are numerous other copyright-related matters that deserve our attention. Copyright modernization remains a priority, and the Copyright Office, as the copyright moves to a new IT system, we must ensure that it has all the resources that it needs to fulfill its unique requirement. I am still believing that it needs further change and needs to be continued in this, and I would hope that the librarian would actually join us in this and not hold us on this, because this is something that needs to happen. The committee has jurisdiction over satellite compulsory license for distant signals, as the chairman had mentioned, Section 119. We have heard from the Copyright Office about its belief that the license should be allowed to expire consistent with their historic opposition to statutory license. While not all expiring STELA provisions are in the jurisdiction of this committee should review those that are. We must also ensure the copyright system functions well for content creators and content users who rely on it. Too often today, we are seeing small creators effectively sidelined from enforcing their rights. That is why I'm glad to see that the team is back, and Congressman Jeffries and I are again with the CASE Act. And for those in here who sell the shirts, that is something important to me. In just a moment, if we forget the creators, if this body forgets that is the original idea, that spark, that hope, that dream, that idea, that music, that poem, that verse, whatever it may be, that comes from within someone, if we ever get to the point where that is not valued in our system, when we ever come to the point where a creative spark in whatever genius it may appear is not protected under our system, our basic civilization goes down. Because it is those moments of spark and creation and hope that the CASE Act would allow for people to enforce their rights. But it's also that spark that keeps us going. And it's not for us in this room. It is for those who are going to have that next spark tomorrow, that next song, that next dream, that next book, that next moment that will literally change the world. That is why I love being a part of this committee on most days. But we'll continue. Piracy also continues to be a problem. While registration pendency times have gone down, questions still persist about how to protect property rights properly as well as works are registered. Piracy can happen in seconds, but registration can take months. I commend the Copyright Office efforts to shorten pendency, but these are questions that we must consider. We must also work to ensure copyright laws, many of which are decades old, reflect the needs and realities of today's digital world. They are not in competition. They're in a mutual symbiotic relationship if we allow them to be, and we need that. Many challenges remain in the copyright ecosystem, but I'm committed to finding solutions. I look forward to hearing from the Register today and to continue the bipartisan work to strengthen our copyright system and ensure it is working for all creators and content users alike. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.